Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with Macklin's in Marbella. We're at the final press conference for GROVES versus Kutnecht this Friday night live on Channel 5. With me I've got Barry McGUIGAN. How are you, sir?
I'm great, really great. It's going to be a great fight. It really is, KUGAN. This could be, you know, we've had so many, we keep saying this like it's a fairly flippant thing. Could be fight of the year, but Styles, I think, in this case, he's really up for it. I mean, they came in yesterday and his trainer said to me, "We hate to win." I said, yeah, well, I would expect that. That's what I want. So, and you look at his style, he's very tough, awkwardly effective, walks you down. But honestly, I really believe George Groves the best I've ever seen. He's like incredible in the gym, punching stupidly hard. And Shane's having more physiotherapy than ever before. His shoulders and the back of his neck. So, I mean, Groves is looking razor sharp. I honestly haven't seen him look this good. His feet are lively. The way he's moving around the ring, the way he's been sparring, he's been pulverising his sparring partners. Honestly, he's looked fantastic, and I really think that next year is going to be his year. And he has to get over, obviously, Friday night, but he really is looking sensational. Honestly, the best I've ever seen.
We've seen George challenge for the world title on 3 different occasions.
Yep.
Obviously, twice to Cole Frampton, once to Badou Jack. Are we in a position now where it's kind of last chance saloon for George to win a world title, his next crack?
I genuinely think that he's got to do something. I mean, let's be honest, we know this business inside out. If he doesn't do it next time, then it's not going to work for him. He's got to win. He's got to win on Friday. He's got to set up next year and those title fights. And if you think about it, think of the opportunities that open up for him if he beats this guy. Ramirez is the WBO champion. You've got the winner of Badou Jack and James DeGale. That's a possibility. You know, obviously we're connected to him too, so that's a fight that could be done, provided, of course, that we can work with Nissa. So there are a whole host of opportunities. There's Callum Smith coming along, who's looking great and improving and getting better. So
the Chudinov Sturm situation as well.
And that's, you know, again, that's the one sort of. We don't really know for sure how that's going to sort itself out, but it's going to have to happen soon. I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. Zuger beat
Tyrone Zuger beat DeCarolis.
He beat DeCarolis, so that's another fight. But I really think that I'd rather see him fight for the super title because I believe he's good enough to beat him. It doesn't matter whether it's Zuger or whether it's Chudinov or whether it's Sturm. I think he beats them all. And honestly, I think he's good enough to go up to light heavyweight too. And he's 28 years old. It's hard to believe that he's achieved all the things he's achieved, and he's still only 28 years old. And he's still got hair. Unlike me, I keep joking about his hair and whatever, but he's getting better all the time, and he's improving all the time. And honestly, he's in love with the sport again. And it's, you know, it sounds nepotistic when I say that, you know, he's working with Shane and it's the best relationship he's had with a coach in the past, but that is so vital to a fighter. That is so important to a fighter, that you know you can trust the guy that's in the corner with you. It's, you know, people underestimate the importance and the value that makes to a fighter when he's gone out there, and you know, we've seen it this year, going out there to risk his life in very dangerous fights. He needs to know that the guy that's working in his corner, you know, he really has confidence in him, and I see that relationship with George and Shane, and it's great. It's great to see that, standing from a distance and watching it. It's great, but not just that. The little incremental improvements in his distance control, his feet, the way his feet are moving, the way he's punching, how much better he's getting at close range, and then creating distance. You know, his game is middle to long range, and he hits you at long range, you're gone. That's it. That's the sort of power he's got, and he's getting better at that. His jab is incredible. He's got one of the best jabs I've ever seen. Honestly, what a fantastic jab he's got. And he's sparring cruiserweights in the gym and really hurting them, and he looks great. I'm really excited about him. And you know, to an extent, the only connection I have with him is through Shane. But going to the gym, that's me from. As I always come from the fighter element. I love to watch him in the gym. I love to watch him making improvements and getting better. And of course, Ness is his promoter, and George is his own man. He's very much his own man. So there's no given that we could be working with him in the future. We're delighted to have him for the first time on terrestrial TV and Channel 5, and I think he'll draw in a big audience. And I think this would be a great fight. And the undercard is fantastic, really fantastic. I mean, Temuka and Paddy Gal could be the fight of the night. It's going to be a fantastic fight. And Big Nick Webb, I'm very excited about Big Nick Webb. He's making real progress. And Andrew Selby is an incredible talent. So it's a really great undercard, and Dan Keenan and all of the lads and Johnny Garton, they're all in good fights, and it's great to see the local talent as well as the big boys.
Absolutely. Barry, I want to ask you about Josh Taylor.
Yep.
Saw a wonderful performance against Dave Ryan not too long ago in Edinburgh. I think it was a good chance for people on terrestrial TV to see glimpses of how good Josh Taylor is, and you've raved about him for quite some time.
I know he came from the same setup as Andrew Selby. They're on the elite team for 5 years. He's making progress. It really lit me up because I wasn't that excited about him until I watched him in the Commonwealth Games, and I was there working for Radio 5 Live, and I thought the atmosphere was electric. He was the banner boy, he was the poster boy, he was the one who stood out of all of the. Then there were lots of Scottish success that year, as you know, but he was the one guy that I went, I'm gonna sign this kid. I'm definitely going to sign him. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to go and get him because I know the potential he's got. He was showing his punching power even in that Commonwealth Games. I knew those big padded amateur gloves, and I knew as a pro he just wiped everybody out. He's very, very talented, and we can afford to move him aggressively. We've moved him aggressively. He's won the Commonwealth title in 7 fights. He can be aggressive with him, and now we got to just have a look at where he is in championship fights. We're obviously looking very closely at Ricky Burns because he's making that much progress. I think that's a fight in a year's time, maybe even less if he keeps doing it. And so let's hope that Eddie and I or Eddie and Jake, I should say, because Jake deals with Eddie, not me, that we can do some business down the road. It would be great. And I think that's a great fight for Scotland, and I think Josh needs more experience, and he needs more fights under his belt, but he's got serious potential, you know that.
If you and Eddie can make Quig Frampton, you can make anything happen, Barry.
I agree.
Last time I spoke to you, it hadn't been confirmed. It has been now that Carl Frampton obviously will face Leo Santa Cruz in the rematch in Vegas in January. Finally it's on, and in case people did think the first fight was a fluke, Carl's out to put the record straight to say he wants to beat this guy twice.
No, he's we were contractually obliged to give him a rematch, but we could have put in another a voluntary defence if we'd wanted, but we want Carl to be motivated, and at this stage, in the amount of money that he's making, he needs to have big fights that he gets excited about and that he gets really up for. This is going to be equally as hard, maybe even tougher than the first one, but I'm absolutely 100% confident that Frampton, I looked at the fight many times, and I looked at and watched it back, and I know Shane has too, and I think Carl done a lot of things wrong, and I think if he does them right in the rematch, he'll beat him more comprehensively.
We look forward to that. It's going to be next January 28th.
MGM Grand, and we're sharing the billing with Mickey Garcia against that unpronounceable kid.
Zlatakanin.
Good man, well done. I'll take you along with me to pronounce these names from now on.
Barry, I want to ask you also about Katie Taylor, who turns professional next week at Wembley, coincidentally as well. That's huge news. And how do you think she's going to fare in the programme?
Oh, she's an amazing talent. I think she's great, and I wish her nothing but success. And I hope that she does very well, and they can afford to move her aggressively. And the pro game for women is tough. It's a tough business. There aren't as many fighters in it as there are in the amateurs, but I'm sure Eddie will do a great job with it.
Just finally, Barry, also we had some news this week that the merging of BT Sport and BoxNation. That's great for boxing and us boxing fans.
Good for the game. You know, I just done an interview on the way in the car with Glenn Evans about the sort of a look back for Boxing Monthly over the years, and it's been a bumpy year for boxing. We've also had the sad side of things with Mike Towell and Nick Blackwell. Lots to learn about the game. We've got to make improvements in the medical side of things. Again, that's not to be discussed in the camera. We need to go and talk to the guys that actually make those decisions, and I've already had a word with Robert, and we need to look at the mental health issue as well. That's something that has to be discussed and has to be sorted out. We just have to get that. So we owe it to the fighters to have counselling for them and help for them. Can't be widespread to begin with. We need to start. We need to start something soon. Very, very sad for the family of Mike Towell, but you know, at the end of his life, he died doing something he loved, and that's we must hold that as our last memory of him. We have, as I say, great news from Nick Blackwell. Our procedures worked. He was taken to the hospital. He's now lucid and sharp. He's completely unblemished. His brain is working brilliantly. He can never box again, but it showed that our methods work, and it showed that we are doing things right. And we can always improve. We can always evolve and get better. 12 champions of the world. We're definitely becoming a powerhouse in world boxing. We're becoming the people to look to. You know, we're maybe even challenging the Americans and the South Americans. So it's great news for boxing. Great news that Frank has teamed up with BT Sport. We all need competition, and I think next year and the years to come will be fantastic for British professional boxing. The amateur game has a serious issue to deal with. They have to be ratified completely, and again, it's not something I want to mention that we can sort of go off, but just to say the whole game needs to be overhauled. The whole AIBA thing needs to be completely overhauled. Ultimately, we get our majority of our talent from the elite amateurs, but the whole AIBA thing needs to be sorted.
Okay, Barry, I think we covered quite a few issues in that short time. Thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and obviously the weigh-in tomorrow at Wembley Arena, and then Friday night.
It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight, I promise you.
Barry McGuigan, thank you very much.
Thank you.